Good evening. Greece is a great country which is full of mythology about God and goddesses. And the world is still admiring the sculpture of these symbol of spiritual high attainment. So good evening, the God and goddesses of Greeks, the modern one. I have come here to remind you of your glorious heritage. In case you have remembered already, it's fine. And if you have forgotten, we come here to show you how to reclaim your glorious position. Because you are all God and goddesses, whether you remember or you've forgotten. If the king, if the prince has forgotten temporarily that they are royalty, that doesn't mean that they are not royalty. Sometimes the kings and the prince or the royal family members have to go out into the adventurous wildness, into the battle in order to protect their country or to explore some new venture. They might temporarily have to leave their own palaces. And while taking adventure thus so far from their own comfort and luxury, and sometimes they might encounter danger, they might encounter problems, and then they might have temporarily forgotten who they truly are. Similarly, we have wandered into this physical existence, and we have forgotten our true kingdom of God. In order to reclaim it again, we have to be reminded, if we could not ourselves remember by ourselves. Because we are already gods and goddesses, or at least God's children, there is no need to do anything in order to become God. We just have to remember. Unlike everything material we can touch, we can hold, and then we can see with the physical eyes, the kingdom of God, the aspect of the divine is invisible to the physical aspect. So we have to use a different way to remember it and to know it. It is very, very simple to know God, to know ourselves. It's just that we don't have anyone to remind us. So even so simple that even children can see God every day. Children from 6 years old. Because God really exists, we can prove it to ourselves every day, every time. Just like we can prove with physics, science, that some things, such and such certain matter exists, we can prove with spiritual science that God and the kingdom of heaven do really exist, and we can have access to it whenever we want to. Just like the physical science, some scientists can discover some ways to prove certain things. As in spiritual matter, some people can also discover something and then share the result with all of us. The ancient gods and goddesses of Greeks, they have discovered such science, and they have left their footprints, they have left their knowledge behind for us to study. And some people go deep into this kind of science in order to assimilate the true meaning beyond the words, beyond the human language, in order to discover the spiritual knowledge, and they can also share with us. Like every science and study, whoever likes to know about it must study deeper, must devote more time into the subject. Therefore, do not wonder yourself why you do not know, because you did not have time to study very hard. Some of us have devoted the time to study and find the easier way to assimilate in a short time the essence of the teaching of the ancient saints, and we can all share this outcome. It is not only time, but it's the sincerity, is the deep longing in the heart to know the secret of the universe that will bring you to the understanding of this wisdom. And once we understand it fully, we can pass it on to whomever would like to be interested in the same subject. Knowing God is the only virtue that we must acquire. Ignorance is the only sin that we must avoid. Ignorance makes us kill each other, hate each other, damaging each other, competing with each other, and make so much damage to ourselves and to everyone else that we think is not the same opinion. Ignorance also breeds so many other evils, such as greed, hatred, and makes us suffer so much, because these things make us also hate ourselves. Ignorance means we don't know that we are both are God, because all the scriptures say that God lives within this temple. So all we see here and everywhere else are God's manifestation in the physical realm. Because of this ignorance, we make war with each other, and we become greedy of every kind, because we are not satisfied with the world. Because we came from the kingdom of God, where we never lack anything. So when we are here, we miss that kind of absolute comfort. So we want money, we want a bigger house, we want all kind of things, because we miss all this. But doesn't matter how many things we have in here, it's nothing compared to heaven. So we never ever feel satisfied. And the more we have, the more we want, and people accuse us for being greedy. Actually, it's not we are greedy, it's that we lack of comfort here. The only thing to stop this is enlightenment, is knowing our true self. That means we visit the kingdom of God, we visit our true home whenever we want every day, in order to know that we have something better, and everything here is just temporarily, and we lose interest in these fake things, because we know the true glory. Because ignorant, not knowing the true self, will do too much harm to us, as well as everyone around us. Look at all the poison that most of the people try to bring into their beautiful temple of God. The alcohol, the cigarette, the drug, the whatever, poison, you name it, and they are expensive. You pay expensive for poison and killing yourself slowly, because you think these will bring you relief, bring you bliss. It seems so. It seems so, except that the long-term effect is terrible. There are more deaths every year, and concerning smoking disease every year, more than war can ever bring. So don't worry about war even. We are killing ourselves already. And alcohol and drug, of course, of course. You know it better than me. You know it, everyone knows it, but they do it willingly. Why? Why? It is because we lack of comfort here. We grab anything that promising heavenly peace and happiness. So, in order to cure all this, we must know ourselves. We must go to heaven every day to get the true things to our spiritual needs, so that we do not have to subdue to all this poisonous substitute, killing our body, numbing our brain, and then damaging other people around us, and cause suffering, misery, worry to the loved ones. We have known that since the old time, most of the people who knows God, they begin not to feel interested much in the world anymore, so they can forsake all the temporarily comfort of this world. But we don't have to do that. We can have both. We can also forsake it, everything, because we will not truly feel the need of any things of this world anymore. But because we are in a modern time, we keep everything as usual for the sake of being simple and carry on our temporarily existence until we go back to our true home. Because of so many god and goddesses have visited our planet and blessed us with so much spiritual grace, so that our world has become more civilized, more modernized, and more uh, full of all kind of comfortable scientific equipments. So we should make use of this as the grace of God. But in order to thank God to for all this, because we feel grateful, then we must know who God is. We must thank Him personally. We must talk to Him. We must listen to what He's saying to us to continue with this beautiful planet and to serve our brothers and sisters the way He wants it. We all want to believe in God, but sometimes it's difficult because we don't have a direct contact. We do want to be good to our brothers and sisters. We do want to share our wisdom, our wealth to everyone, but we just do not have much. We are here to show you how to achieve these things that is always the deepest desire in your heart. The prayers, the rituals, the fast, sometimes bring us a little comfort and a little glimpse of God, but we must do more than that in order to know the complete self, the complete true self, which is God's and Goddess's quality. To do more doesn't mean we forsake our work, forget our family, and don't eat, don't sleep, all kind of asceticism. No, we carry on with our life. We just save a little time to communicate with the divine. And as the more we communicate with the divine, the more time we even have, because we will need less of every other thing, less sleep even less food, less whatever we think before is so comfortable, so necessary to us. Because the body is nourished not only by food, but by spiritual grace. Otherwise, why a person who died cannot move anymore, cannot talk anymore, cannot think anymore? His whole body, the brain, everything is intact. Why he keep motionless? Okay? The person who's dead, it means the person, his soul, his divine self has left this physical instrument and go elsewhere. So that divine self, that true person must be fed, must be taken care of also in order for this body, meanwhile, to also function perfectly. So if we practice spiritual meditation or contemplation through spiritual prayers, that means we also take care of the body. That means we water the plant from the root, not from the leaves. So that's the principle of the universe. Seek you first the kingdom of God, and everything else will be given unto you. Lo and behold, the kingdom of God is not far. The kingdom of God is at hand. It's very near. It's within you. It's every second we can see. So if the kingdom of God is at hand, we can see it. I can assure you we can.